Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Yeah? Go for it.
Well, we're very happy to see all of you. For all of you online, welcome. To all of you in person, welcome. We're excited to bring in hopefully some sweetness and some light into this Shabbat. And because we have a different crowd coming throughout the summer, we want to just invite you to take a moment to find someone who is new or who is returning, or just maybe someone you haven't seen in a while, and just introduce yourself and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. You're allowed to get up. All right. The Jews are too friendly. We're going to come back together.
All together. We've all been speaking and full of life and distractions, and now we can come together and sing whatever syllable speaks to you. Yai dai dai or lai lai lai. together. Yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, yai by yai by yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, yai by yai by ba. Let's do that again. Yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, yai by yai by yai by bim bam, yai by bim bam, ya ba ya ba ba. I invite us all to just take a deep breath together. I don't know about you all, but this has certainly been a week for me personally, for the world. It's another week with all sorts of anxiety and discomfort and uncertainty. But what is certain and what is, I hope, can bring you some semblance of, yes, we have some friends.
We have some
here.
guests who are joining us in the wilderness.
We're not sure what they are.
They want to sing with you, Cantor House.
Oh, yes. But regardless of what we're all experiencing in our worlds, in the world, we are here now, and that is what we can control in this very moment. And that is what Shabbat can bring to us, is to have that opportunity to be here, to be in the moment, to be experiencing what it is right now. I invite us to join together. This is a version of Yedid Nefesh that may not be as familiar, but is something that, when Ken Forey left, he sent me an email and he said, these are the melodies that'll be familiar to our community. And so I have not strayed from that list, including this one.
So you have to sing it.
So you have to sing it. But that being said, I invite you to please join in when you feel comfortable. Again, you can pick a syllable and just sing Lai 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 if that feels good to you. But we'll join together in Yedid Nefesh, words on page 11.
Middle of 10.
Middle of 10? Oh, man. I thought I knew that book really well. Let's sing it. Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman, of Harachaman.
we continue welcoming in this Shabbat in celebration with Lecha Dodi, we are on page 20. Page 20.
I think they're birds. I really do.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right, sing with us. Okay. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Again. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. שמור וזכור ודיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני הוא שמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ונפילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נשואה, לא מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Top of 21.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך מאורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלי יגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise and face the entrance.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתולה. תוך אמוניה סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue standing. We are on page 28 for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. This is our moment to put away all of the stuff that Cantor has talked about from this week and to choose to be present in this space with this community in this moment. Let's join together 28.
Yai,
standing for another moment. And our next prayer that we would typically recite is Ma'ariv Aravim. This is us rehearsing the act of creation and acknowledging the beautiful, miraculous cycle, in fact, of moving from darkness every night back into light and going from that nighttime into daytime. And it reminded me of this, I will say, spiritual conflict that I've been having, which is we're in the month of Tammuz. We're right in the middle of the month of Tammuz. In fact, this Sunday is Tzom Tammuz. It's traditionally a fast day. And this is when we recognize in history, this is when the walls of Jerusalem were breached. And it leads to 3 weeks up until Tisha B'Av, this day, this ultimate time of affliction when we recognize all of the calamities in our tradition and in our history. And so we're really in Tammuz as a time of sorrow. And yet we also have the light and the extra brightness that comes with summer. Right? Some of us get to travel a little more and see family. Some of us are really getting to experience the length of days. And so we really kind of have this both sorrow and also this light. And what I think for me the lesson is that's how most things are, right? Most things are not usually one or the other. It's often a fluid process that moves constantly back from the darkness into the light. And so we join together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Thank you, God, for the ability to even see the light, the cracks of light that emerge from the darkness. We'll join together in our prayer for unity, Shema, page 34.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובתקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמן.
I want to share with you this reading. It's called Cold Feet. It's from the Sha'arei Zahav, a congregation in Northern California, has this beautiful prayer book with such thoughtful collections of readings. And so I wanted to share this one with you. Cold Feet. They say cold feet are a sign of turning back, the failure of internal will. But I say it can be the other way, the body's anticipation of things to come. Whether demons are nipping at your heels or gnawing within, here's the thing. Settle quietly, close your eyes, then take the most deliberate, deep breath, as though it were the very first, God's breath. And when you can feel it penetrate every bit of your being, making the rest of your life possible, you open your eyes and take that first step out into the sea of reeds. Watered feet are just the price of coming home. We'll join together in Mi Chamocha, hopefully feeling a little bit of that sense of home together. We are on page 40.
Last night I had the opportunity to have dinner with a dear friend of our family. And interesting that when you and I spoke about services yesterday, we were talking about darkness and little bits of light that come into our life. And this person, while she is also a light of mine, is going through some really dark stuff. And she told me, kind of just happened. I didn't know all this stuff that she was dealing with. And for a moment in time, it was like everything in that bubble, in that place that we were sitting outside at a restaurant, that for 2 hours, she was provided with a blanket of safety, the ability to say what she needed to say, and say it however emotionally she needed to say it. And for that moment, I felt as though she was given the safety and protection that she needed to be able to share what was on her mind. And I think that a lot of us feel like the world is bringing a lot of darkness into our lives. both personally and just the general world. And while we can't always go out and fix the world immediately, we can provide those blankets of peace, that blanket of safety for those around us. So I invite you, not now, but reach out to a friend. It's when the ones that don't say they need help, when they say they don't need help, chances are they really do need help, or just an ear. So when you think of Hashkivenu, while it's this really big thing when we talk about God's safety, God's protection, it can also be between two people, two friends, family members, two strangers. So sing together Hashkivenu, but really I invite you to reach out and just ask, how you doing? Because sometimes that can open up a whole new world for the person that you're with. On your sheet, I'll remember to announce that one sometime.
Got you.
You know,
We got you.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom, Lishalom, V'ha'amidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us not wrong from right, O Adonai.
The Amidah can be found on page 46. Please rise.
Adonai Satai Tifta, Adonai Satai Tifta.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morit HaTal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechaye Umatmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Ata Lehachayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol Ata Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom Yehalelucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue in silence through page 62. You can pray the words of the Amidah or just take some quiet time for yourself and be seated whenever you are ready.
You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sings to you, and it not be still. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sings to you, and it not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God,
turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sings to you, and did not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, I ask you to be gracious and hear me, Adonai. And I call on you to help me, and you've supported me with joy. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sings to you, and did not be still. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sings to you, and did not be still.
Well, we first put up this tent about a year ago in preparation for one of our early in-person B'nai Mitzvah during the pandemic. Creating shade and safety, this space that we are in has really become the gathering place for so much that we have done at this temple over these past 2 years. And as I opened our Parsha this week, Balak from the book of Numbers, these famous words called out to me with new poignancy. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good, how fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. These words are delivered by the sorcerer Balaam, who originally was hired by the Moabite king Balak to curse the Israelites before they approach his territory. Balaam, instead, though, can only utter words of blessing as he looks upon the Israelite camp from atop a mountain. In this blessing, Balaam uses idyllic language, drawing upon visions of abundant gardens and shimmering pools to describe the Israelite camp, an image of the world as it could be. He says, like palm groves that stretch out, like gardens beside a river, like aloes planted by Adonai, like cedars beside the water, their boughs drip with moisture. Their roots have abundant water. Balaam is not looking at an oasis. He's looking at a dusty desert encampment. But he is able to see so much more. Sitting atop this mountain, far removed from the tethers that chain the Israelites to their very challenging desert experience, one that includes hunger and thirst, disease, rebellion, plague, and much more, Balaam can look upon the Israelite tents and see not just what is, but what could be. And in so doing, he blesses them with a vision of the future that they then must pursue. Today, as we've shared, we all quite understandably feel like we are in this wilderness of our ancestors. I know at least that I do. From the fear born of an ongoing worldwide pandemic to the despair born of an ever worsening climate change, poverty, homelessness that our leaders and our neighbors brush aside or ignore, to the outrage born of our nation's relentless assault on reproductive rights and civil rights, these very real threats make it feel very easy to be cynical, perhaps even to be hopeless. But as Balaam illustrates, sometimes our preoccupation with what's wrong prevents us from seeing what could be made right. In a little less than 6 weeks, we will begin the month of Elul. And a month after that, I know it's hard to believe, we will welcome the Jewish New Year. And throughout that season, our tradition invites us to look out from our metaphorical mountaintop or balcony at our individual and our communal lives to assess with honesty not only where we are, but where we must go in this coming year. These journeys aren't always easy, and the coming year's journey will almost certainly be more difficult than the one that preceded it. But there's something that happens when you see the world from a new vantage point. What blessing might Balaam, looking upon Los Angeles from the Hollywood sign, offer this city? What blessing might we offer our city or community or families, even ourselves? If we were to gather up all of our imagination and all of our creativity and all of our hopefulness and abundance and possibility and dismiss for a moment the sense of hopelessness and scarcity, what future might we divine? This week, I listened to the final podcast of Krista Tippett's beautiful radio show On Being. Does anyone else listen to On Being? Oof, okay. I'm going to give you a taste and you're going to get to enjoy it later. She's hosted this for over 20 years, and she reflected in an article about the conversations that she's had over the years with so many people and her calling in her work to shed light, as she shares, on generative possibilities and robust goodness. And in this reflection, she shared the following. I talk about hope being a muscle. It's not wishful thinking, and it's not idealism. It's not even a belief that everything will turn out okay. It's an imaginative leap, which is what I've seen in people like John Lewis and Jane Goodall. These are people who said, I refuse to accept the world has to be this way. I'm going to throw my life and my pragmatism and my intelligence at this insistence that it could be different and put that into practice. That's a muscular hope. Hope isn't easy, but hope wasn't made for the easiest of times. It was made for the darkest, as our ancestors discovered through their grim sojourn in the wilderness. Yes, we all deserve the opportunity to mourn the America, the Los Angeles that we once lived in, and we should take that time to do so. But if we wish to live in a better world, we don't need complaints or cynicism. We need a plan, a vision of what the future could bring, a blessing that we can work toward turning into reality together. Rabbi Sue Levy-Elwell offers us one such vision as she creates an alternative blessing to Balaam's Matovu. She combines Balaam's words with words from the prophet Isaiah and seeks a vision of society that's not stuck in dichotomous, narrow thinking, but rather embraces expansiveness. Here's a piece of it. She says, enlarge the space for your tent. Do not spare the canvas for your dwelling place. An expanded tent, Rabbi Elwell offers, in a gracious and open city reflects the utopian and achievable goal of moving beyond oppositional concepts of native and stranger, friend and foe, chosen and rejected, male and female. Are we ready to open our tents and our hearts to those who wish to dream, and then to build sacred communities that not only tolerate diversity and difference, but also celebrate them? Can we move beyond narrow, divisive definitions and descriptions that are no longer useful? When our dwelling places become sanctuaries for all seekers of peace and justice, when our homes welcome all who no longer objectify the other, then, she says, we will truthfully declare matovu, how good and how fair are our tents. This Shabbat, what blessing might you offer, and what work might you commit to, so that we can all build a good and fair tent? Shabbat shalom. I think that one of the ways we build that vision of a tent is similar to what Cantor House was talking about before with her friend, when we invite people to share their lives and to share their souls, not the curated, shiny version of it, but the really real version of what's happening inside of us. And part of how we do that is through our Misha Berach, through our prayer of healing, where we invite people to share names out loud of those in your lives who are suffering, when you maybe even say or think about yourself who might be in need of healing or of compassion. And then we call together these names as one community and bring our resourcefulness and our strength to really be there and support one another. And so if there is someone that you are thinking of on this Shabbat who is in need of our healing prayer, I invite you to rise or to raise your hand, and we'll go around and share their names out loud. Misha Berach is in the middle of page 253.
Make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha. Renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Aleinu can be found on 282. If you're able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Words to prepare us for Mourner's Kaddish on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love does not die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. As we recite Kaddish this Shabbat, we especially remember LBT member Mort Gampman, beloved partner of Isla Groby, whom death has taken from us recently. And we link his name with Sarah Bennett, Sherwood Beers, Fanny Billett, Ruby Bubis, Joy Morris Chermak, Abraham Davidson, Hattie E. Desser, Florence Flom Daniels, Paul Geller, Miriam Geringer, Louise Wyman Gerdwin, Philip Goldman, Esther Gutland, Bernard Human, Risa Howard, Robert Jaffe, Benjamin Harris Lautman, Rita Levin, Hyman Lieber, Helen Marpet, Karen Peltz, Mildred Schultz, Erwin Segan, Harold Seltzer, J. Edgar Spitz, Geraldine Turkanek, Ruth Wax, Shirley Ward, Lily M. Worth, Seema Wexler, and Rosette Wilson. If there are other names that we should add, or if I mispronounce the name of your loved one, I invite you to please share their name at this time. Yeah, Debbie. We also think of far too many victims of violence in a world that is filled with violence, and we think of those who are defending our country and our people's ancient home. We rise together as one community for Mourner's Kaddish. It can be found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'amad yivrach yirateh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha berechu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru Amen. Zichronam Levracha, may their memories truly be for a blessing.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
I was just going to